CareerBuilder is made for people who have that thing. You know, those superpowers that make you good at your job, the skills you bring to work. And CareerBuilder knows those skills make you right for other jobs too. Higher paying jobs with benefits. Jobs you never thought of trying. Are you a people person? Work from home as a customer service rep? Are you organized and like driving? Become a delivery driver. You have the skills it takes, and CareerBuilder.com has the jobs to get you hired fast. Visit CareerBuilder.com.
The radio on your dash is more than radio. That SiriusXM button is instant access to a world of exclusive entertainment, including ad-free music channels for every genre and decade. You can also hear your favorite sports, comedy, talk, and news. Plus, you can stream with the SiriusXM app on your phone and connected home devices. So grab your phone, dial pound 250, and just say SiriusXM to get 12 months for $5 a month with a new select subscription. Call for offer details. Fees and taxes apply.
Lost Hills is a new podcast about a mystery when a man goes camping with his 2 young daughters and doesn't make it home alive. After his death, the cops follow a crumb trail of clues and arrest a survivalist they find camping in the woods. Lost Hills is a shocking story that uncovers a dark truth about law enforcement in Malibu, California. Listen to Lost Hills on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Presented by General Motors, offering 30 new electric vehicles by 2025. Everybody in.
This is the Green Zone.
Oh my! He is the baddest man in the NFL!
This is the Green Zone with Dave Ross and Wes Reynolds on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It is the Sweat Zone right now on the Green Zone with Wes Reynolds. I am Dave Ross, presented by BetMGM. And Wes, we're getting down to crunch time here in these afternoon wave of games, and we've got some drama right now in New England, a tight one between the Dolphins and the Pats. So let's go back to Arthur Arkush. Arthur, what's going on there? Because I believe Tua just took a big hit, and it might be a game-changing hit.
Yeah, fellas, the play of the game thus far here in Foxborough, Tua on third down with an ill-advised interception. I believe it was Jonathan Jones who came down with it. It was Matt Judon, the Patriots' big-ticket pass rusher, applying the pressure, redeeming himself after a kind of boneheaded special teams penalty on the preceding drive. So, look, the Patriots now down 17-16 and in business on the plus side of the field, looking to build on the Mac Jones momentum. Frankly, he's played great today.
Yeah, it really has, Arthur. He's been pretty impressive. And again, you look at this now, and minus a 1.5, that's obviously going to come into play. Obviously, you get the field goal. If you can get that here on this ensuing drive, you're going to cover that. But a lot of people have the Patriots -3 and are looking for that 6 potentially with a 2-point conversion here. So a lot of things still in play. And certainly even the over-under, if they were to get a touchdown and 2-point conversion, that could come into play as well. So we'll keep you updated there after that turnover. But we have had right now in Arrowhead just a wild turn of events. After the Browns went up 29-20, we saw the Chiefs get right back into it 29-27 with a quick score of their own, as you mentioned, to the Cheetah Mahomes, and they get a busted coverage score, and it looks like a Browns special teams play has just gone awry in a potential punt situation where the punter just dropped the football.
Yeah, Jamie Gillian just did not get the snap, tried to, fire, tried to make a run for it, and a lot of Chiefs defenders around him. Chiefs going to have very good field position.
So if you took in-game the Chiefs either getting 3.5 up to 4.5 or took them straight out just money line to win this thing, all of a sudden you're right back in business deep inside Cleveland territory. 8.5 minutes to go, a 2-point game here. This is just insane. We'll get back to Eric Edholm in just a minute. They're at the 15-yard line. So when you give Mahomes these type of opportunities, you just can't make these mistakes like we talked about with the Giants against the Broncos. You can't turn it over. The Browns are good. I don't know if they're this good to overcome these type of mistakes.
Yeah, you can't make a mistake against this team. No. And I think they've outplayed this team pretty much most of the afternoon. But nevertheless, Kansas City, they are never out of it because they're so explosive offensively. You can't have that kind of miss to you. Now Edwards-Helaire 7 yards, so 2nd and 3 from the 8. Not quite a goal-to-go situation, but now Kansas City at BetMGM -3.5, minus $1.20, -250 on the money line, total 70.5. And we can go back to Eric Edholm, who is our man watching this Cleveland-Kansas City game. What do we got, Eric?
Yeah, Jamie Gillen, the punter for the Browns. His nickname is the Scottish Hammer, but he might have a new nickname after this one, guys. Just fumbled the snap, couldn't make a first down after that. All of a sudden, Kansas City has got the ball back in the red zone again. It's 29-27. Right after we last spoke, Tyreek Hill had a long touchdown, one play after the Browns had scored. So it is very much a game. In fact, Chiefs could take a lead here with a field goal or with a touchdown. Game on, boys. I only think there might be 20 or 30 more points in the last 7 minutes here.
This is insanity, Eric. And look, Wes just made the point, Eric, and I want to get your take because you're watching this even more closely than we are here, that it feels like the Browns have thoroughly outplayed the Chiefs. And in a matter of seconds, they're more than likely going to be behind. Are we right on that take? Has it been, with the exception of the mistakes, and it looks like they just punched it into Travis Kelce here.
Again, yep.
So the Chiefs have the lead, Eric. If you're the Browns and you're Kevin Stefanski and you're Baker Mayfield, you got to be thinking right now, if we don't pull this thing out, Eric, we just gave it to the Chiefs yet again, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the Chubb fumble and then this failed punt operation that just happened really kind of turned the tide. That and the fact that the Browns' new defense, this revamped group, hasn't been able to stop Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense in the second half. Realistically, you can only hope to stop him for one half, and then you know that the onslaught is coming, right? I think every team that's faced them has felt some version of that. So the Browns really have to hang on here, obviously need another drive. And if it's a long drive like they've had earlier in the game, maybe they can kind of bleed some of this clock. We'll see how much. They got about 7 minutes left, and they'll be trailing. There'll be a 2-point conversion coming up for the Chiefs. It is currently 33-29, 7:04 on the clock in the fourth quarter.
And a big 2-point conversion here, Eric and Dave, because this would put that either on the number if you laid it at 6 or 5.5. 5 is where it closed, and that is turned away. So Cleveland still within inside the number here, 33-29, 7:04 left to go. Chiefs basically with 2 touchdowns in a little less than 3 minutes there. So now we have business has picked up in Arrowhead Stadium.
And this is the point, Wes, is that literally 3 minutes ago, football time in Arrowhead. Okay, if you had the Browns up 9, plus you were potentially catching 5-6 points, depending on the closing line, whichever line you got it at, you thought, I don't have to sweat this out. Now, they're down 4. You're barely covering from pre-flop here. You're in the sweat zone. Because another mistake, and Pat Mahomes is going to take advantage of it, and all of a sudden you could potentially lose this. We talked about the bad beat of the day, which I think was the over in the Tennessee-Arizona game. If you have the Browns and they can't even hold on to this cover, that would be San Francisco-Detroit might be the worst one of the day.
It depends. Obviously you can say, okay, well, you had an opportunity to bet a better number. It's kind of both are right there. Like, yes, you had an opportunity to bet a better number, but no, you don't expect when you're up 24 points here with about 2 minutes to go that you're going to lose that number. And by the way, that was an illegal man downfield penalty decline. So Browns avert the 2-point conversion, 33-29 now, just about 7 minutes and change here in Arrowhead. But now all eyes go to Foxborough Stadium.
Yeah, and absolutely. Here we go. Right now, Mac Jones, it looks like the Patriots have a 1st and goal scenario right around the 10-yard line. 4 minutes as that clock winds. So let's talk a little bit more about this game. I do believe, do we have Arthur? We do have Arthur standing by with us. So Arthur, looks like here come the Pats. And again, everything's still on the line here, potentially a cover scenario if the Patriots can punch this thing in.
Yeah, it sure is. New England follows up the interception with, I think, a trio of really quick first downs. Again, Mac Jones continuing to move the chains, look really efficient. Damian Harris moving the chains as well. So they are now on the doorstep, knocking, looking to take the lead. But as you said, they came in today laying 3.5 when the game went off. So, of course, they need that 6. And now keep in mind, they're in no hurry at all with 4 minutes and change. They'd love to milk this clock as much as they can. And Arthur, maybe even not give the Dolphins the ball back.
And Arthur, in real time here, we just had a fumble in that game, and the Fighting Fish have turned away the Patriots. 3:18 to go. Looks like Xavier Howard came up with that loose football again. Mac Jones imploring his guys, this is not over, right? We know how good this defense is in New England, so they still have time to get the ball back. And again, just we see how many mistakes are made with turnovers and how critical they are not only to the point spread, but just to winning, losing the game. Because it looks like the Patriots going to solve this thing away with at least a field goal, if not the touchdown.
Damian Harris just fighting for extra yards there, and then the ball just got knocked loose. So, by the way, Miami ruled having the turnover. It will be Miami football, although we have a conference on the field. 3:18 left to go here. Just kind of reset the scene here. 3 timeouts available for New England, so we'll see if they elect to do this. That they should at least get the ball back, and now Miami, They had 5 red zone takeaways last season, second most in the league, and
they did it
had
again.
one here because Harris just fighting for that extra yard and just ball came out, ball ripped out. It is required, I believe, by Xavier and Howard. Yep. It was Rose that knocked the ball loose. So Miami comes up big when they had to because, look, New England, you look at the stats here, 391 yards against 235, 70 plays to 44 plays. Mac Jones has been very efficient, 29 of 39, 268 through the air. A very almost Brady-like performance. Not going to compare him after one game, but that's how he did it. Efficient, worked the ball down the field, not necessarily making deep shot after deep shot, but just kind of, single and doubling you to death, almost like death by paper cut. So now New England going to try to get the stop here. Miami pinned deep in their own territory. New England with 3 timeouts.
And look, this is Brian Flores, right? This is a Bill Belichick disciple. He calls Tua here on a little sprint roll, so he's going to get about 9 yards, or close to it. He's going to be a little bit short where the knee went down. There is a flag down.
And so that's coming back.
We'll check that. But again, this is the way the Patriots play, and that's the way the Dolphins are now doing with Brian Flores. You're looking at 2 mirror teams right now, and that's what they're going to try to do. Play takeaway. If they can get the takeaways like Miami just did and figure out a way to run the ball, play conservatively, and escape with what could be a huge victory on the road for Tua and the Fighting Fish here. Again, 17-16. We'll keep an eye on the penalty. A good play call there, but it might be called back here due to a penalty.
2 games that are not in the sweat zone, by the way. It is Saints against the Packers. 2-minute warning, 38-3 Saints.
Aaron Rodgers benched.
Yes, he is benched. Jordan Love in the game, 3 of 5 for 54 yards. So that's not in the sweat zone, and we're not in the sweat zone here either in East Rutherford.
No.
27-7 Denver with the lead, 2:49 left to go. And basically the only thing kind of in play might be your total, depending on your number. That did close like 41, 41.5, 34 points on the board between the Broncos and G-Men.
And I know when you're going to start looking at some matchups here in the coming weeks here for over-unders, maybe on potential player props. Devontae Parker has been lost for a couple of years in Miami. Tua Tagovailoa just hit him on a 1st and 14 after that first play was called back, and they gained about 12 yards back. He's been going to Parker a lot today. If they can get a couple first downs here and churn this clock out, again, 2nd and 1, so they get 13 on that play. This is huge as they try to get it down and get a first down if they can, and it looks like they did.
Yeah, so now the Patriots kind of down to their last stand. What they're probably going to do, they can't really use the 2-minute warning necessarily as a timeout. So 2-minute warning is going to stop the clock. Actually, New England does take a timeout. So they have 2 timeouts left and the 2-minute warning, but can't give up any more first downs or this ball game is going to be over.
And right now, the Chiefs holding on to that lead. I cannot believe they have this lead right now. It's a 4-point lead, 33-29, about 4 minutes to go there. So we got some sweats. We got some blowouts. Wes and I are just getting started. We're not going anywhere. Coming back right here on the Green Zone on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hey, it's Wilmer Valderrama from Essential Voices of Wilmer Valderrama Podcast. This clip is brought to you by State Farm. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates on car insurance. Yes, for real. If you need to insure your car or home or both, it may feel like you're getting special treatment, but the truth is State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates with solutions to meet your car insurance needs, whatever they may be. So talk to a State Farm agent today and discover surprisingly great rates to fit any budget. Como un buen vecino, State Farm está ahí. I was just arriving from Venezuela back in 1993. At the end of 1993, I was 13 years old. And I had to repeat the 7th grade because I didn't know how to speak English. So I was in ESL classes, English as a second language. And that was the class where I had, I was able to commute with other kids like me that had just gotten here too. And as I was progressing through school, I realized that my first job on behalf of my family was to learn how to speak English. That was the first thing I needed to do. And as it progressed, I had a couple of teachers who really believed, right? Who really believed in these kids, and I think that was one of the biggest signs of confidence that really kind of empowered me to do what I'm doing now. Listen to Essential Voices with me, Wilmer Valderrama, every Tuesday as part of the My Cultura podcast network, available on iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football is back, and the best bet you can make is downloading the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It doesn't matter if you're new to gambling or an old pro, FanDuel has something for everyone. And as an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you know your bets are safe. There's also never been a better time to use FanDuel, because right now, you'll get up to $1,000 back if your first bet doesn't win. You can even turn a small wager into a big payday with a same-game parlay bet. Just sign up with the promo code SPOTIFY to place your first bet risk-free on FanDuel Sportsbook. Download FanDuel today. 21 plus and present in Virginia. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get your tickets now for the daytime stage at our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Samsung Galaxy.
Saturday, September 18th at Area 15, Las Vegas's new entertainment and events complex. A mind-blowing experience.
The hottest new stars from all genres of music perform live on the daytime stage.
Don't miss The Babies, Olivia Rodrigo,
The Kid Leroy,
Sweetie,
All Time Low,
24K Golden,
Russell Dickerson,
Youngblood,
Gabby Barrett,
Tate McRae,
Conan Gray,
Addison Rae, and more. The biggest artists in music come together for one weekend in Las Vegas.
Get your tickets for our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival, including the daytime stage at AXS.com.
Presented by Samsung Galaxy. Samsung wants to remind you that on August 11th, there's only one question you should be asking yourself. Are you ready for this life? Something big is brewing. Find out more at samsung.com/reserve.
Make this football season your best sports betting season ever. Start your VSiN free trial today to get full access to our sports betting experts, including 24/7 video streaming, daily best bet emails, betting splits with the money and ticket percentages on every game, plus full access to VSiN.com data and analysis. You get everything VSiN has to offer for only $22 per month. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe. I hope you do that. We have been keeping a watchful eye on everything going on here in the Green Zone all day with Wes Reynolds. I am Dave Ross, and it looks like we're getting close to a kneel-down situation in New England. Arthur Arkush has been watching this game closely for us all day. Arthur, it looked like that Miami was going to get pinned deep in their own territory. They had a penalty on first down, but facing a 1st and 14 against that defense, they were able to muster a first down, and this thing, for all intents and purposes, is over. Is it not, Arthur?
Yeah, and if they can hang on here, as it looks as they will, New England out of timeouts, and Miami's just got to take a couple kneel downs. It'd be a heck of a win. As you said, they got a big completion on first down to Devontae Parker, and then some tough running from Malcolm Brown on second down. Then Jacoby Brissett comes in to power it ahead. It looks like Brian Flores and the Dolphins a win over the Professor and the Patriots, the division rivals.
Both divisional underdogs look like they're going to get the covers and the outright wins today, for that matter. Of course, Houston over Jacksonville. So going back to 2013, going into today, and actually I want to take Houston out. They were a home underdog, but road NFL underdogs in divisional games in week 1 were 26-9-3, now 27-9-3, because add Miami to the kitty. And really, if you go back to 2009, 66%. So divisional road underdogs. And look, that kind of makes sense, because it's like, okay, we know we're up against it. Divisional road game on the road. We got to be at our best. And Miami, maybe not quite at their best, but good enough today. New England, I think, outplayed them in the numbers. So kind of a faulty win for Miami, but they don't note that in the win-loss column. No. So a win is a win.
And Arthur, I do want to, because you watch this very closely with the two quarterbacks. And again, all the talk was about Mac 10, right? About Mac Jones making his debut. Not a whole lot of buzz about Tua Tagovailoa. And if it was, well, what do we expect out of Tua? What did you make of the quarterback play here? Because it looked like, from our vantage point, Mac looked good, and so did Tua, despite that turnover late. What did you make of the quarterback play that you saw today?
Yeah, I thought Tua was solid, maybe a little bit more uneven. And then, as you said, that interception just can't happen late. That's unfortunately going to leave an asterisk on a performance. But the Dolphins are very fortunate. It looks as if it's going to still be a winning performance. So, look, they out-executed the Patriots. Brian Flores will be happy about that. They won the turnover battle, and they won the penalty battle as well. So, not the cleanest game, but they're a little cleaner than New England. And you can't say that every day, guys.
Yeah, Arthur, great stuff all day long watching that game for us. What a game it turned out to be. But again, that's the formula. I mean, New England's going in for the potential, not only a go-ahead score, but also to cover potentially in this game. And they fumble inside the 10. Brian Flores winning that turnover battle. That's going to be good enough. By the way, the Giants just scored on the last play of the game. So again, it has no importance to who's going to win this. That's going to be Denver. But maybe for you in-game bettors, if you took that over, that might tick it over. Chad Andrews has been watching this game all day for us.
No PAT being kicked, by the way. Players coming on the field.
That's important as well.
It does affect the second half total. It does go over for the second half, that Danny Dimes quarterback draw up the middle, but it does stay under for the full game, 41.5.
Let's go out to Chad right now. And Chad Andrews, you saw Denver really dominating in this second half with that defense. What'd you make of this opening day victory?
Yeah, Von Miller is back. 2 sacks in this one of Daniel Jones. They forced a couple turnovers as well and get the job done. And really the only question for this one in the second half was that total. Melvin Gordon gave the overbettors a chance, right? Looking like he was back in Madison here with the 70-yard touchdown run. But Daniel Jones is the guy you can point to if you had that number. It started at 42 earlier in the week, down to 41. In-game, it got as low as, I think, 31. So some of those people may have been able to cash, but with 1 second left, he runs it in, but with no time left on the clock, they don't kick the extra point. So it goes from 34 to 40 in the final second of the game. So depending on when you took that total, depended on when you won or if you lost.
Chad,
if you won or if you lost.
Chad, very quickly here, because I know there was a real quarterback competition this summer in Denver, right, with Drew Lock and with Teddy Two Gloves. What'd you make of Teddy Bridgewater today? Did he show you enough? Because I think certain guys get labeled, as we talked about it with game managers and or kind of journeymen. Does it feel like Teddy Bridgewater has a command of this offense and he's doing what they're asking him to do?
It was played as a quarterback competition. I don't know that in Vic Fangio's mind that it ever really was as close as it was made out to be, because what Teddy Bridgewater does is exactly what he's always wanted. And whether you call that game management, whether you call that being efficient and being smart with the football, not turning it over, but that's exactly what Teddy Bridgewater did today. And as I mentioned earlier, the way this team came out and looked in the first half, the way they went for it on fourth down, the way they were a little bit more aggressive, I think that's the comfortability level of your head coach with a veteran quarterback who takes care of the football. And if Teddy Bridgewater can do what he did today against teams all year long, this team is going to play a lot of close games. A lot are going to come right up against the total, but they're going to be in it in the end. And remember, Denver does have a very good kicker with Brandon McManus. They're going to have a chance to win a lot of weeks if Teddy Bridgewater just continues to do what he did today. I think the one thing that will look a little bit different going forward is they are going to want to run the ball more with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams than they did against that stout Giants front today. So I don't think Teddy will throw it as much as he did today, but because he had to against that defense, I think it all looked good, and he came through for Denver, an offense that looked a lot more confident than it has at any point in the last 5 years.
Yeah, Vic Fangio now 1-7 in September. It used to be "Wake Me Up When September Ends." Remember that Green Day song?
Fantastic.
Now he's Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you remember the 21st night of September? Well, you remember the 12th afternoon of September, Vic Fangio's first win as the Denver Broncos head coach.
Again, they could be a sneaky good player in the AFC West this year. Chad Andrews, great job. Thank you very much for covering that today for us as the Broncos get a season-opening victory relatively easily on the road, 27-13 in New Jersey against the Giants.
Final score, by the way, in New England, 17-16. Dolphins get the win and the cover, outright and the cover. So down to one game, Dave.
That's it, but it's a good one. And I wanted to note this because Kansas City had the ball, 4-point lead around midfield, and guess what the Browns did? Myles Garrett with a big sack coming around the edge, and they're getting the football back. Let's go back to Eric Edholm. Eric, potentially you might have, I mean, I guess when you have a finish in overtime, it's hard to get the finish of the day. But potentially you are sitting on a really good one here. What'd you make of that stop by the Browns?
Yeah, it was great. I'm exhausted, guys. I had to move to the couch. This has been a very exciting game so far here. Big sack, got the ball back to the Browns. They're moving it. They have a 3rd and 2 now as the clock ticks towards the 2-minute warning. Looks like the Browns are going to take the ball and let the clock go to 2 minutes, talk it over a little bit here. But this is your life, Baker Mayfield. He's had a great game today, 19 of 25, 298 yards. You know, the run game has been there, at least when they've gotten to a certain point of the field. This is going to be critical for them to decide, you know, are they ready for prime time or not? 33-29, the Chiefs lead. It's touchdown or broke, fellas.
Very quickly, E, because I look at the Chiefs right now, and we just saw it there up on the screen that the Super Bowl odds plus 450, still the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl here at BetMGM. Eric, with what you've seen today, and sometimes teams that come up short in the Super Bowl, the next year isn't exactly like, oh, we'll get over the hump and get back there when they won it just a couple years ago. Do you have any more doubts about the Chiefs, or is this more about the Browns just being maybe on their same level?
I try not to put too much into one game or week one or anything like that. You know, we saw the Bills, today struggle. We saw them struggle early last year before kind of cranking it up. You know, Kansas City, you know, we talked earlier in the day about them bypassing the opportunity to go for it on 4th down, kick a field goal. They're going to pull the Aaron Rodgers here and just say, relax, we got this, we're okay, you know, and work out the kinks as they go along, because they have the best player in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes. He's had a 4 TD game today, 3 passing, 1 running. And the defense really did step up in the second half, I thought. Some big plays from Chris Jones, Juan Thornhill knocking a ball loose that could have been a big Browns conversion earlier. So they're getting enough timely plays, even if they're giving up big tracts of yards, at least earlier in the game.
Well, I can tell that Eric looks very stressed watching this one. I think Cleveland Browns fans are a little bit more nervous than Eric is. So he's not done by a long shot. We'll check back in with Eric as this game progresses. 2-minute warning right now in Arrowhead.
Yeah, just the money line right now at BetMGM. No point spread up. Browns plus 250. Kansas City minus 350 to get this.
Let me ask you something, Wes. Who would you rather be? Would you rather be the Chiefs defense trying to be in the position of stopping Baker Mayfield, or would you rather be the Browns offense and say, yeah, we can go down and get this thing done?
I got to be honest with you. I'd rather be the Browns offense.
Really?
Because I think, look, Kansas City, I know they've gotten the turnovers, but this isn't a team. This is a team when they say bend but don't break. They're very pliable, Dave. They're very bendable. I mean, you could fold it literally in half with these guys, but they just get enough turnovers here. So we shall see. 2-minute warning in Arrowhead Stadium. Let's go.
Sweat Zone is alive and well in Arrowhead Stadium. Come back with us right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Football season is here and starting right now. VSiN has added new talent and shows to help you make the most of your fall betting action. The VSiN lineup will expand to 21 hours of live programming every weekday, as well as additional shows on the weekend. We want to give you the latest odds to stay on top of the in-game betting opportunities for every key game across the country. VSiN has added new personalities to our existing world-class team, including former pro athletes, sports media veterans, and, of course, strategic sports bettors. Visit VSiN.com to see our new lineup and meet our talent and make this your best football betting season ever. Oh, my goodness. A lot has happened, Wes, since we went to break.
The Cleveland Browns found a way to go Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry, Cleveland.
You said you would rather be the Browns and not be the Chiefs defense.
I wouldn't. They were moving the ball, but Baker Mayfield, a little bit of pressure, throws it up for grabs. It is picked off, and game over. Kansas City survives. Browns get the money. Chiefs get the win.
33-29 is that final score in Arrowhead. But again, it just feels like a deflating loss if you're the Browns going forward. Yes, we take you seriously. We took you seriously last year when you made a deep run and got in as a wild card. You beat the Steelers in the first round, and you gave the Chiefs everything you can handle. But at some point, you got to grow up and win these big boy football games, and they haven't been able to do that. They did not get the job done today, so the Chiefs do survive of course, the over hits, but the Browns do carry the money if you took them on the points. But if you had a money line, I feel like you had not a bad beat. I won't say that.
A tough beat
because you feel like you really had this one. Let's go back to Eric Edholm, who's been watching this game like a hawk from his couch. Very comfortable looking couch, by the way, Eric. But again, in the end, the Browns just weren't good enough to get it done. And Eric, they had so many chances to do so.
It's not something you can really afford to do at Arrowhead against Patrick Mahomes when he's having a great game. Chiefs outgained on the day, and the Browns actually ran fewer plays than the Chiefs did. But in the end, Chiefs really turned it on the second half. Browns couldn't sustain all their momentum from the first half. And look, guys, they got to go on they have a tough game against the unbeaten Texans next week. So, obviously,
the AFC South leading Texans.
Eric Edholm.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and Eric, great job all day, by the way. And again, this is what you do, Wes. You already looked at the Patriots, and it looked like they kind of outplayed the Dolphins a little bit, and Arthur did a great job of updating us throughout the day, where it felt like they're winning everywhere but the scoreboard. That kind of, you have a similar feel with the Browns today, and if the punter can hold on to a snap, it just felt, like a gimme points that they just give away to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just too good to be able to do that too.
Absolutely. And, we were talking about that Miami kind of got outplayed. That's being reflected in the market. I don't want to do too much of a giveaway. Opening lines, by the way, closes out before Scott Seidenberg. We'll get to that in terms of the NFL lines now coming out for week 2. But Buffalo, to your point, already getting hit a little bit in the market. So now Kansas City goes to Baltimore for Sunday Night Football. Cleveland, as Eric mentioned, the AFC South leading Houston Texans.
Easy win today, Eric Edholm. Great job. Thank you very much for being with us all day long right here on the Green Zone. Look, so everything now is done in the afternoon slate. And Wes, I asked you after the initial wave of the 1 o'clock games what your biggest takeaway was. What'd you make of the 4 o'clocks? Because very quickly, mine... I talked about I kidded about Narrative Street a little bit with Green Bay, but there's going to be a lot of national talk tomorrow about what's wrong with 12, what's wrong with the Packers, 3 points, and just a demoralizing loss on a neutral field. And again, Ben Wilson, who did a great job for us today covering that, said it felt like a Packers home game to a degree. And you lay an egg like that, I mean, I got to think tomorrow people are going to say, do I trust the Packers going forward?
Yeah, if Aaron's really interested, we'll see if he rebounds, because that was a flat performance.
And that's the thing about Rodgers, right? And we don't want to read too much into the body language, but it almost has like that Jay Cutler feel of like not caring.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean they don't care. It just means they don't emote that look of like, you saw Matt Jones like cheering up his guys after the fumble, right? You don't see that from Aaron Rodgers, so people read into the body language. I'm not doing that. But you do wonder, if this is Rodgers' last year in Green Bay, do you trust them with your money? Because, oh, by the way, one of my smart plays for the year, I don't feel very smart right now. You know what it was? It was the over on the total of the Packers. And by the way, I got to get 11 wins to push. So now I felt pretty good because you're getting the extra home game kind of down in Jacksonville. And then after what I saw today, I don't want to overreact. But I am a little nervous. I got to be honest with you.
You are going to get one, though, next week. It is the Lions coming into Lambeau Field on Monday night. So at least you're going to be even Steven through 2 weeks, Dave. And sometimes we often got to take that. And just kind of looking at the summary of the day in terms of the late games combined with the early games. Underdogs 10-3 today. Wow. And we did have more unders in the late games. 3 of the 4 went under. It was 6-3 early, so now 7-6 to the under. So overall, take that Dallas game on Thursday, 8-6 to the over. Underdogs 11-3 today, so very good start. So probably a pretty good Sunday for the books because, look, you get some underdogs win outright. Pittsburgh wins outright. Houston wins outright. Arizona wins outright. The Chargers, even though they were favorite early on, they went outright as an underdog. Philadelphia outright as an underdog. Cincinnati outright as an underdog. Also, I believe Miami outright as an underdog, and, of course, New Orleans. So, look, because I'm just looking kind of at this consensus for a lot of the contests. There's always the consensus for that Circa Million or that Westgate Super Contest. Westgate Super Contest, by the way, 1-3 on the consensus. Raiders still pending for tomorrow. Circa Sports Million, 2-2 on the consensus. Ooh. So if you had kind of a mixed week like I did where you're about 500, don't feel too bad because at least, kind of goal, and that's what Brady Cannon says, beat the consensus.
I got it very quickly, and we saw that Green Bay schedule, and the only thing that gives me a little bit of hope going forward is that I looked at the rest of the division. Minnesota lost today. Detroit lost today. Green Bay obviously lost today. We'll find out about the Bears, but oh, by the way, Chicago Bears fans, and our director, Jeremy Wingle, if the Bears win, they're in first place. First place in the NFC North. We'll find out how they do in LA tonight. But I'm just saying right now, I look at the rest of the division. I didn't think it was very good to begin with.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Packers would look this poor in their first outing of the year. But that's the only thing that still gives me a little bit of hope. We'll find out how the Bears look against a really good defense in the Rams. They're going to get tested. QB1 is Andy Dalton.
Yes.
We'll find out how long that lasts.
Well, the Red Rifle may not be willing to go into that good night. The Red Rifle, the Ginger Ninja, whatever you want to call Andy Dalton. Nevertheless, he's going to be a big underdog tonight. Yes. Money coming in on the Rams. Still 8.5 at BetMGM. As high as 9, though, in the market. So, look, moving those teasers a little bit. Now, if you want to tease 9, make sure you tease under to get under that 3, because on a 6-point teaser, if you have it pending, or if you're trying to maybe tease it with tomorrow's game with Baltimore and the Raiders for Monday Night Football, now you're not getting that good value, really getting it below the 3. So right now, as high as 9 there in the market. Books have already had a good day, but I think if the Bears get a cover, and especially an outright win, this is a big-time scoopage day. So they're going to have the lights on tomorrow and then some come Monday morning.
We talked about the over-unders and how they've played out so far as we have 2 games left on the slate here for week number 1. You saw that number 47 tonight between the Rams and the Bears. Do you have a feel for that? Because to me, again, when I look at the Rams and you look at Aaron Donald, you look at Jalen Ramsey, and you look at the Bears offense and you think, well, are they going to be able to move the ball? They probably won't be able to run it, you don't think, very effectively tonight. Yeah. It feels like an underplay here. But then again, the Rams can be explosive on offense. They've added Matty Stafford there to the quarterback position. They feel that's a significant upgrade over Jared Goff there in La La Land. What do you make of that number? Because, again, 46 right now at BetMGM.
I think it's probably about right here. And I'm really interested to see what the Rams do offensively, because I think defensively, obviously very good. And they were the team, in full disclosure, who I picked to get out of the NFC for the Super Bowl, even though they might not win their own division, because San Francisco looked pretty good. Putting aside getting backdoored, depending on your number aside, they looked pretty darn impressive really going forward today. But you look at the Rams, now Matthew Stafford a lot of times isn't going to be from behind. He is going to be able, I think, and it's going to depend on how McVay calls the play call. And it's like, I got defenses that can now get me 3 and outs. I got defenses that can give me stops. So I don't have to throw it 45, 50 times a game, even though a little bit depleted at running back with Akers now being out for the season. But look, Stafford used to having not a lot of a running game. I think he had 1,000-yard rusher in his dozen seasons in Detroit. It was Reggie Bush. I forget the year, but that was the only one. So, look, I think, Matthew Stafford probably not going to be a total gunslinger, not really have to be like he was in Detroit.
Well, I'll say this. Matthew Stafford has a winning record in his career as a quarterback, as a starter in Detroit against one team. That team? The Chicago Bears.
Yes.
So it goes to L.A.
Rub some knife into our Chicago listeners and friends, Dave.
Sorry. Look, I hope for the Bears fans, it's a great fan base. I know they can't wait to see Justin Fields. They cannot wait, right?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be rooting against your starting quarterback, though, people. It's Andy Dalton. They were booing him in Chicago in the preseason.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton didn't do anything to make Matt Nagy's decision for him, right? So they said you're going to be the quarterback to get the start here. We'll find out how long that lasts.
And is this the landing spot here against the Defensive Player of the Year for Justin Fields, who got double and triple team, 1 Defensive Player of the Year? Maybe hold off until you play like Cincinnati or Detroit to get a look at your new toy in Justin Fields.
Remember, Bears, Andy Dalton's on your side. You're supposed to root for him. We'll find out how that plays out tonight. We're not done here in the Green Zone. Come on back. You're locked into VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hey everybody, it's time for today's STEM tip. Want to know how to make your selfies even better? Okay, let's use science. The best time for photos is golden hour. That's the moment right before the sun sets, when the atmosphere scatters blue and violet wavelengths, making perfect, soft, and golden selfie light to show off that beautiful face of yours. Click. Check out Chic and STEM for more inspiration. A message from the ad council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I want to get back to being in my community group.
I want to continue having a soccer season.
So I can throw parties again.
So I can go to her parties.
It'd really be nice to dine in instead of getting delivery for a change.
So I can feel safe and protected for myself and my students.
We each have our own reason for why we're getting vaccinated against COVID-19. What will yours be? Visit getvaccineanswers.org for information on the COVID-19 vaccines. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Sign up today at BetMGM and enjoy the thrill of victory on your very first bet. The king of sportsbooks welcomes you to Showtime with a lock of the year. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on any team. And if that team or any team scores a touchdown, you're going to win $200 in free bets regardless of your bet's outcome. Just use the bonus code VEASAN200 when you make your first bet to take advantage of this offer. Enjoy football like never before with BetMGM's live betting options, boosted odds specials, and daily promotions at your fingertips all season long. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use the bonus code VEASAN200 to win $200 in free bets if any team scores a touchdown. New customer offer, paid in free bets. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Please gamble responsibly. If you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Promotional offer not available in Nevada. Dave Ross back with Wes Reynolds. Wes, it's been a blast here. Week number 1. Almost in the books. We've got a couple games to go here, one tonight and one tomorrow night. But we did see some interesting moves here at BetMGM. And I think the biggest mover of the day was King Kyler. Kyler Murray was 25-1 to win MVP. 9-1. I don't remember Ferris being sick 9 times. 9-1. This is a heck of a move against a defense in Tennessee that wasn't very good, but Kyler certainly took advantage today.
Yeah, 4 touchdown passes and also ran one in. So Kyler Murray over 300 yards total offense. Did have the 1 interception, but 9-1. Look, I even commented on Twitter during one of our breaks. I was like, look, Kyler keeps getting better and better. A little bit of an over-adjustment, in my opinion, to 9-1, because last I checked, he still plays in the NFC West. And by the way, NFC West opportunity here, depending on what the Rams do in Sunday Night Football, to go 3-0 besides the Arizona Cardinals, where all of the division teams win. So, look, you still got to play the Niners twice. You still got to play Seattle twice. You still got to play the Rams twice. So, not a real tough schedule outside the division, even though Green Bay comes into town. So, you got Minnesota next week. They lost today. Their defense, look, Joe Burrow was able to make plays on that defense. And then they go to Jacksonville. But 9-1, like maybe if he was in the mid-teens, kind of where Josh Allen is at 14-1, or Russell Wilson at 16, maybe I could sponsor that. But 9-1, a little low for me. And keep in mind, these are going to adjust pretty much throughout the year. So let me give you the top 5. Mahomes, 9-2, 450.
Yep.
Kyler Murray, 9-1. Tom Brady, TB12, 10-1. I don't think did anything to discourage bets on him from his performance on Thursday night. If his running backs don't turn the ball over,
that's right,
he would have had a much better stat night. Josh Allen, 14-1. Russell Wilson, 16-1. And then Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson, 18-1, respectively.
I'm glad you pointed that out with Brady very quickly, because I actually like those numbers at 10-1 for Brady, because he had 2 picks in that game Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
One was through Fournette's hands.
Yes.
The other was a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. There's no asterisk put by those. Those stats count, right? But people aren't going to remember that at the end of the year. Conversely, you look at the 2 picks that Aaron Rodgers threw today, they were game changers.
Yes.
Right? There are differences in interceptions. All interceptions are not created equally, and that's a prime example of it. So at the end of the year, I know we won't remember it now, week 1, when we get to week 17, week 18, but just remember that to me, that says a little bit about it, that maybe all interceptions are not created equally. Now, The Steelers had a great, and I do mean great, Week 1 road victory in Orchard Park today, beating down the Buffalo Bills, coming from behind to do so. That defense, Wes, we talked about it. It looks like a championship-level defense that they have there. And now, all of a sudden, their odds have come down dramatically to win the AFC and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. What do you make of what you saw to that Steel Curtain defense today?
Look, that defense can carry you to wins. It really did today, and against a very good Buffalo team who I thought probably, in my opinion, maybe not the favorite to go ahead and get to the Super Bowl out of the AFC, but certainly shorter odds, and they have drifted a little bit. Only plus 650, though, so I think Buffalo... I don't think everybody is going to dismiss them now just off one win.
Two good teams.
But you look at the Steelers, that defense, now the offense got to get better. They got to run the ball better. They got to protect better. You worry about that offensive line. The Steelers will have the Las Vegas Raiders on a short week at Heinz Field. Back-to-back home games now with the Raiders and the Bengals. So possibility, very good possibility, they're going to be 3-0 for September and go into Lambeau first weekend of October.
I tell you why I like those odds, obviously, for the Steelers, as you mentioned with the defense. But you pointed out the offense. I got to think that they're going to get better, that they're going to figure out that running game. Now, if they can't run the football, I'm with you. I just don't think Ben's arm's going to hold up throughout the whole season. We saw it last year. They got off to the undefeated start, and they really waned down the stretch. If they can get Najee going a little bit with that running game, that's going to be a really dangerous team because defenses travel. They're going to get better. I said the Steel Curtain defense of the 70s, maybe I can't put them in that class just yet.
Yeah.
But right now, they're in the short list, along with possibly the Rams, of having one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're going to be a tough out if they continue to play like that against an offense in Buffalo that was humming last year, and they got shut down today.
They did. I don't know if the bloom is totally off the rolls for Brian Daboll. I don't think after one game, but probably not his best performance. But I do go back and cycle back to that Steelers running game. 21 carries, 75 yards. Keep in mind, 25 of those yards were on a Chase Claypool end around. So take that out. 20 carries, 50 yards. That's not going to get it done. This offensive line has to be a lot better. They got out-yarded by over 100 yards today. And look, Claypool made some big plays. Johnson with that great catch that gave them the lead. We had our man Torrey Gurley watching that game for us in the early session here. But Pittsburgh, I think, does have to improve. Now, the schedule, you get the Raiders at home at Heinz Field, and then you get the Bengals at home. So that's the opportunity to get right here before the schedule kind of gets a little bit tougher.
All right, before we turn this over to Brady and James at the top of the hour, Wes, I do want to take a quick look ahead to Monday night. We talk about Brent Musburger. It's never going to get old hearing Brent say our names. He's going to be on the call, obviously, for the Raiders here as Las Vegas is going to try to get a home victory against Baltimore coming in here on Monday night. It's going to be a raucous atmosphere here in Las Vegas. Right now, the Raiders still catching 4, and that total right now at about 50.5. It's come down a little bit since the opening line at BetMGM. What do you make first blush of that game Monday night?
There are some 3.5s, including at BetMGM. By the way, the Raiders in both the top 5 consensus in the Circa Million and also at the Westgate Super Contest. So a lot of people kind of looking where I am, and I'm on the Raiders personally at 4.5. I'm a little lukewarm on it. I'm not in love with it, but I'm already in on the Raiders nevertheless because I do think this is a big spot for them. And I'm not necessarily going against Baltimore because of that running back thing because, look, their best running back is their quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
That's true.
So they're going to be fine, I think, offensively. They can kind of last here even with not a lot of healthy bodies in that backfield. The offensive line concerns me a little bit. Ronnie Stanley from right here in Las Vegas trying to get back. They've got two new starters on the right side with Zeitler and Alejandro Villanueva, who came over from Pittsburgh. So still think some work in progress there. And plus, this is such a massive spot for the Raiders. And you saw it last year, even with that COVID 2020 affected season and no spectators in the stands. Raiders played pretty balls out there, that home opener against the Saints on Monday Night Football, and got a win. Now you got fans in the stands, and you got every mover and shaker in town, every politician, every big-time business owner, Chamber of Commerce, every property owner, every property in this town. They've got a suite, and they've got a skybox. So everybody is going to be there in Las Vegas that's going to be wanting to see this game. And look, you only got one good chance to make a first impression. So this is something that this Raider team, I would expect at least a big effort out of these guys.
I think Friday Night Lights, it was Coach Gary Gaines, I believe. They said, give me a running back, right? The Ravens don't have one, but they do have a quarterback. We do have some news. Josh Jacobs right now, speaking of running backs, for the Raiders is listed as questionable. So this is new information coming out now. So we talk about the Ravens and how they might be hindered at running the football unless it's Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
You wonder about the Raiders now going in here, whether this is all going to fall on number 4, Derek Carr, in his right arm, if they can't run the ball, if Jacobs can't go. So all of a sudden, Wes, very interesting to keep an eye on that because, again, I think that the Raiders feel like they have an advantage, certainly with their offense, at least throwing the football.
Yes.
They felt like they might have an advantage with all these injuries at running back, but if Jacobs can't go, that's a big part of their passing game as well.
Yeah, and Kenyon Drake would be the backup there. Peyton Barber also on that depth chart in terms of running back. But, the offensive line, going to be interested to see Alex Leatherwood at right tackle, the rookie out of Alabama, and see how he looks with a veteran left side with Miller and Incognito. But I am on the Raiders here. That defense, though, has to improve, and it's really going to be predicated on that pass rush because that secondary you can throw on a little bit, and we kind of saw that last year. They've got to get better, but that pass rush has got to get home. And Ngakoue, Crosby, Jefferson, Hankins got to be able to get home and really help these guys cover.
I do have a small play on Raiders money line, and it's kind of for what you're talking about here, Wes, because I just feel like you mentioned the atmosphere in Las Vegas. We felt it here today. Just watching week 1, wait till you actually get to the game in Las Vegas after not having fans in 2020. If you can't get the Ravens in this spot with 0 running backs, knowing that Lamar Jackson is going to have to do everything, he might be able to do it. I mean, that's why he was a league MVP.
Yeah.
We understand that he might be able to do everything, but you got to like your chances if you're a Raiders backer here to possibly get this done tomorrow night. And again, 1 game left tonight, the Bears and Rams getting ready to kick off. Wes, got to say, man, a lot of fun. Week number 1 for
hole number
us.
1 completed of an 18-week season here. I think we birdied.
We
birdied the first hole, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Brady Cannon, James Queen is coming up next right here on VSiN. Do not go anywhere. It is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Here's today's STEM tip. Don't throw out that old plastic bottle. Repurpose it by turning it into an awesome terrarium. Just fill it with sand, pebbles, soil, and your favorite plant. It'll grow sealed right in its own ecosystem. Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Talk about it. Bienvenidos, mi gente. Gloria Estefan here. We are bringing Red Table Talk the Estefans to podcast. Just like our Red Table Talk sisters, we have brought 3 generations together to talk family, relationships, and social issues from the perspective of 3 fabulosas Latinas. Listen to Red Table Talk the Estefans podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.